Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10, broadcasting to you live, as always, Friday, the 21st of October. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Here we are live at James Alexander HQ, and Friday, as many of you will know, one of my favorite days of the week. Why? Well, it's the day we try and get people out viewing, because people tend to make their decisions about what they're viewing on a Friday in terms of the weekend, and Saturday is the most popular day for viewing. Why? Because people are off work, families can be together, and they can look around houses. So on a Friday, our big job is making sure the big push is on getting every buyer that's out there and looking, and making sure they're looking at our stock instead of our competitors. So I hope you're doing well. We're in the middle of a new race to be the new Prime Minister between, it seems, can you believe, it almost feels surreal, doesn't it, Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak again. I think Liz Truss, one of the things she seems to have done is, and the reason that she's out is it's like she went shopping, got her trolley, stacked it up with stuff, but didn't actually look at how much money she had in her pocket. She didn't refer to the Office of Budget Responsibility as to whether the cuts that she suggested or the incentives that she suggested were affordable. Just went out there and did them, and the markets just took fright big time. And I actually think that if we're going to do this again, I'm surprised we are, because I actually thought that there'd be no credibility attached. We'd end up in a general election, and we might still do yet. But I think their best chance of hanging on is Rishi Sunak. I think the idea of Boris Johnson coming back in when his own party told him the game is up seems just incredible. But what it will come down to in terms of market stability is how the policies are implemented and what policies are implemented. What it needs is a calm hand at the tiller. And for me, that's Mr. Sunak. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I suspect we may end up with a snap general election very soon. Certainly this time around, if it doesn't work out. And that's if they can decide on a candidate. I mean, it's just extraordinary events, isn't it? So how are you? I hope you're doing well. Here in Southwest London, the weather is bright and the sun is out. So it's a fantastic time to be thinking about what you're going to be doing the weekend in terms of viewing properties. In terms of the rental market, it's still nuts, still absolutely crazy. And literally it's got to a stage where often we're not even advertising the properties that we've got available for rent, because the level of inquiries is so high that we're ending up disappointing so many, like multiple families. And literally as soon as we advertise something live, no matter what the price, we've got inquiries coming out of our ears. And what we're finding is that because we already manage hundreds of properties, sometimes our existing tenants can actually look to take the new properties that are coming to the market, as many landlords are changing their position given the massive rises in interest rates and deciding to sell. Because whilst, yes, it's true that landlords are increasing rents on the one hand, the other side of the coin is their mortgages are going up, if they're not on a fixed rate, so rapidly. And the rent increases more often than not do not discount exactly the same amount as the mortgage increase in the mortgage rates, so that people are now still going backwards even with their rent increases. And many of those are taking the opportunity and saying, well, actually it's time to sell. And they're also a little bit worried about the market generally, and that's understandable too. One of the interesting things is that 5-year fixed rates are just a little bit lower than 2-year fixed rates, which indicates that the markets still think that years from now, the markets will start to settle down and stabilize. But in the short term, it's going to be tough times. The next really interesting point will be the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and that comes up in early November. And once that's happened, we'll know how much, not if, but how much interest rates are likely to rise. And it's widely held that it's somewhere between 0.75 and 1.5% increases, which is quite a shock, I know. Time will tell, and that will all depend on the markets as well. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens there. There's also the deputy manager of the Bank of England suggesting that perhaps interest rates don't need to go so far, so faced as was previously thought, looking forward into what is undoubtedly a very large recession. So apart from that, we're pushing on, looking for those new buyers. And if you're thinking of selling, or if you're already in the middle of selling, as many clients are approaching us now that are already on the market and taking advice as to whether or not they should be selling now, or how to sell their house that's already on the market with another agent, that's what we're experts at. We can tell you how to do it, what to do, and what we can do to make sure your house goes in front of more eyes than it is in your current agency, and has a proactive approach to selling with the confidence that's required in a difficult market. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for watching as always. We'll be back on Monday with another edition. Till then, ciao.